7 defensive stacks that you guys should be considering for the upcoming summer period in Sorare. Before I get into this is not financial advice. Do your own research, but these are 7 clubs, 7 defensive stacks that I like the look of going into the summer. And first up, we're talking about Sanfrecce Hiroshima. Now, this team is known for its defensive capabilities. It's known for its defensive absolute warriors at the back. We've got Osaka in goal, which we'll take a closer look at. Now, this guy is a bit more expensive because he does fit into the under 23 category. So granted, I mean, his floor at the moment is 0.6. But if we take a look at his scores, he's obviously capable of clean sheets. However, the great thing about this is that you have a choice of who to stack him with, right? Let's take a look at Sasaki. Now, Sasaki is coming in at 0.238 at the moment. His last couple of games have not been ideal. But if we just take a look at him from an all perspective, and then we look at Sanfrecce as well, you can see all of those dark greens. Look how capable this guy is. He's an absolute warrior from an AA point of view at the back. And he does pop up with the odd decisive. Now, the other guy is Iraqi. I own this guy, so I'm not trying to pump him up. But again, if we take a look at his scores, if we go to all and we go to just Sanfrecce, you can see there he's capable of them big spikes. He's capable of the dark green scores, and another quality player to have in the gallery, and obviously stack with that goalkeeper. The other player that you can put in there as well is actually Shiotani. Now, Shiotani is a little bit older than those guys. He's 34. But again, if you look at his scores from an all perspective and then filter by Sanfrecce, he, again, is capable of them high scores. He's probably the worst one out of the 3, but as a defensive stack, Sanfrecce is a great option for you this summer. The next thing we're going to look at is another Japanese team, and it is Vissel Kobe. Now, if you haven't heard of these guys, you probably should have. You know, Ian Esther went there to end his career out there, and they are one of the best teams in the Asia region and certainly in the Japanese league. I think at the moment they're in the #1 spot. Now, from a goalkeeper point of view, I think this guy might be a new goalkeeper this year, or he certainly just won the #1 spot. But again, you can see here from the start of the season how capable they are of clean sheets. He's coming in a little bit less because he's a bit older than the Sanfrecce stack. He's 28 years of age. He is performing very, very well and at a decent price as well at 0.4. You could probably get him around that 0.35 mark, which falls into the average of all of the kind of decent Asia and the America goalkeepers for the upcoming summer. Who to pair him with? In my opinion, you've got an option of 2. You've got Sakai here, and apologies if I'm pronouncing these names wrong. Feel free to butcher me in the comments down below. But we've got this guy here who has been around Sorare for quite a while. And again, if we just go to all, you can see how capable he is. An AA monster. He can play right back. He can play left back as well, which he played the majority of last season. But it seems as though he's back at right back this year. But a very, very solid outfit. The other guy is a little bit of an unknown, but he's come in and he's taken set pieces with Vissel Kobe, which is a massive thing. He's now their #1, or their starting left back, as I said, taking corners, free kicks. I don't know if he's on penalties yet. Probably not. I wouldn't have thought so. Maybe one of their strikers are coming in there, but very capable of AAs. And again, you guys know that I love guys that are on set pieces, and for a left back who's clearly getting forward, is in amongst it and is taking their set pieces in one of the best teams in the league, capable of clean sheets and getting that extra 10 points. I think that this guy is a bit of a steal at that price. The next team is another Japanese team in the Asia region. It is Nagoya Grampus, and I was umming and ahhing about whether to actually put these guys in here because I'm looking at this stack and I don't want his price to jump. Not that my videos are going to do that anyway. However, in goal, we have got Langerak. Now, he's an Australian who is a really, really solid goalkeeper. He's been one of the best in the league for a long time. And if we go, you can see how many clean sheets has this guy had, or how many decisives has he had since he's been there. Person to stack him with, again, in my opinion, is this guy, Fuji. He is under 23 and he is for the next few years. So you are going to have to pay a little bit more. But if we look at his scores this season, let's just go by the last 15 or so. The new season starts around here. He's popped up with a 90 and 87, and he's just come off the back of a 68 and an 80 as well. Chuck some XP on that. Get him stacked up. with the new collectible game as well, maybe you get another boost in there. And I think this guy's a really good option. He's clearly got a long career. His contract again is up at the end of the season. It seems like that's a regular thing here. I'm not an expert in the Japanese league in terms of how they manage contracts, etc. I know in MLS they have a hell of a lot of contract extensions tied into their contract, so you would need to do your own research. But as a stack, I really like these guys. And just as a bonus to throw in there, this guy here, Mateus Castro, as a forward is a really, really good option if you want, 3 out of the 5 people being from Nagoya Grampus. Next team to look at, and we are in the MLS this time, is Philadelphia Union. Now, this team was the best defensive team in the league last year by quite a way. They set some records, and although they haven't had the best start, I do think that they're going to start to pick up some form now, and their goalkeeper, being one of the best goalkeepers in the MLS for a long, long time, is Andre Blake. Still at a great age as well, so expect, the next 4 or 5 years that he's still sticking around. And if we take a look at his scores, as I said, it's not been a great start for Philadelphia, but last year they were very, very solid. And there's a few options to pair him with as well. First up is Kai Wagner. Kai Wagner, again, takes all of their set pieces. He's a left back. He has been linked to transfers abroad. However, none of that has panned out yet. I think everybody went on a selling spree 3 or 4 months ago in the off-season because there was talks for him to go into Leeds or going back to the Bundesliga or even Bundesliga 2. But he's still there. He's still there at Philadelphia, and he's just come off the back of a 97. You can see, again, how capable this guy is in terms of spiking. He's still one of the best defenders to have, in my opinion, in the MLS this year. And Philadelphia just need to get their act together a little bit, and they'll be up and running. Jumping back to the other options, you've got Glesnes in there as well, and you've also got Jack Elliott, who doesn't appear on here, but I will open him up. Very, very cheap at the moment because he may have lost his place, or maybe there was a bit of rotation. I'm assuming it's more rotation. I wouldn't see Jack Elliott losing his place anytime soon. But again, if we go to all and just look at the Philadelphia Union scores, because he's been there since day dot. I think he was one of the draft picks. Again, very capable of green scores. And with Glesnes as well, I'll show you that guy as well. Glesnes has been there for a long period of time. Again, another really, really solid defender there, capable of green scores. And you can tell that if you pick any 3 of those to go along with Andre Blake, you should be in a good spot for the summer. Moving on to a favourite of mine in the MLS, it is Nashville. And last year, they struggled. They really struggled defensively. They was leaking goals. Joe Willis didn't have the best year. But again, if we go to this all and we look at Nashville specifically, look how capable this guy is. It was only last season where he had these kind of really bad performances and he was rotated a little bit, but he's certainly their number one. Certainly the best defense in the league so far this year. And you've got a couple of options to pair him with as well. Walker Zimmerman and Daniel Lovitz. Now, I bang on about Daniel Lovitz all the time. I think that he's so underpriced for what he does. He takes some of their corners as well. He's capable of those green scores, those spikes, and it seems like this year he's getting a little bit more AA as well. Some of these games he's moved into the inside to fill in as that kind of left centre back, which has helped some of his AA. But I really like this guy. And obviously Zimmerman needs no introduction. If you know anything about MLS football, he's won, I don't think it was last year, the 2 years before that, he won the best defender in the league for both of those seasons. And he is an animal when it comes to, getting into the box, when it's attacking for corners. But yeah, as I said, last year, it weren't great. But if we go back to this little spell here, these 88s, 87s, 85s, 9600s, he is really capable as well. And they might be back to it this year. They're in their new stadium. They was in there last year, but it seems as though they've made it their proper home this year, and they are keeping clean sheets for fun. Moving over to Argentina, we have got one of the best teams in the league. We've got River Plate. We've got Armani in goal, who is a club legend. He's been there for so long. 36 now. He's still got the best part of 18 months left on his contract, and you can see here by looking at his results, look how consistent this guy is. An absolute beast in the goal. He doesn't need a clean sheet in order to get these big scores as well. He does rack up some of the AAs. I mean, he got a 20 here plus the clean sheet, hence the 80, but he's very capable of picking up those AA scores as well. And then to pair him with, I think you've got 2 options really. You've got Mamana, who is coming back from injury. He's just got his place back, and he's picking up his stamina again and his fitness, but you can tell there that he is capable of these green scores. And then the other guy, well, what I would say is just be careful, because he is clearly an injury risk. I mean, even if we look at everything that he's done here, all of these DMPs, I don't know whether that was a reason because he was kind of out of favor, or maybe it was an ACL or whatever was going on there. I don't know the history of the player too much, but I do know in the last year that he's a very solid player, but he is an injury risk. The other player is this guy right here, Perez, and we look at some, well, you look at his scores. I mean, in the last 10 or so games, he's got 196 and 96 and an 85. You could tell that he's a beast. An AA of 50 there as well, so he's an AA of 60. So a really, really solid player. If they can get their partnership going with Armani, they're really strong this year and going into the summer as well. And moving on to the last club, San Lorenzo. Now, a little bit bittersweet here because I'd actually won Batella a few weeks back, but I sold him. But he's a really, really solid goalkeeper. I mean, wow, I didn't actually know that. I've probably sold him around here, and he's just had 4 clean sheets pretty much on the bounce as well. You win some, you lose some. Probably sold him for like the cheapest that I've ever sold him at. But anyway, that's my woes. Moving on to the guy, again, is really good age. And defensively this year, they seem to be extremely, extremely solid. 2 players that you compare them with. First up being Gaston Hernandez, who I looked at again when I had Batella. He's come into his own this season. When does the season start? Around about here. Slow start, but then he's really coming to his own. The other player to pair him with is Gattoni. And you've got to be careful with this guy, actually, because he does move in the summer. I don't know whether it's like the mid or the late July, or whether it is as early as June, like in a couple of weeks. But he's a really solid player as well. So, yeah, if I had to go for any, it would definitely be Hernandez, just for that safety. But that's another great stack as well. They're sitting second in the Argentina League. There you go, guys. There are my 7 clubs to perform really, really well defensively going into the summer. Have I missed any? Leave a comment down below. Which ones do you like the best? If you like this video, hit the like button. If you want to see some more, hit the subscribe button. And as always, I'll see you in the future.